Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Here.
Mr. McGee?
Here.
Mr. Moraro?
Here.
Mr. Pop?
Before we go on to approval of the agenda, I'm gonna move item number 4 up to item number 1 and 1 down to 4. And that's the only changes I have on there. Do I have a motion on the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda with item 1 and item 4 being reversed.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of February 21st, 2024.
I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 24th, 2024.
Support.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Move on to approval of manifest 2024-05. Scott, did you have any questions? Brett?
I have nothing.
Jeff?
None, Madam Mayor. No questions.
I just have a couple of them. I see I got the Mistig thing in here because I brought this up, but I didn't know if everybody noticed on all 3 departments. Let's see, the power, the water fund, wastewater, there was $928.85, totaling of $3,715.39 for Mistigs. And I know we never paid that much before. And I see that they put it here, but I'm not quite sure. Do we know why it went up so much?
I don't know.
They gave me a thing here, but I didn't get to read it. But I noticed that was quite a bit, more than we used to pay, so. And,
It's not tied into the new.
No,
No.
that's just the cost for their administrative.
Oh.
yeah.
And we spread it out to each department this year. Normally, we just pay it all out of the general fund.
And then maybe that's why, no, because Lisa said it was more than it used to be.
Yeah, I don't know what it was before, but it was usually paid just through general, but now we've put it into.
And I had just on the electric side, and Scott will probably have to answer this, you'll have to get the answer. Portable golf cart fans, battery charger, and one other thing I seen from Irby, it says Oakcrest on there. Is that for the golf course or is that Oakcrest Drive?
I have to talk to him. I want to say that might be part of the Oakcrest Drive
That's what I'm
pavement
thinking.
project, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him about the manifest, but I had that listed.
Okay, and then I just wanted to know I know we've been buying a lot of fans, now we got golf cart fans, so I was wondering what them are for. And that's it, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve manifest 2024-05, the amount of $431,540.11. Support.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. The council will not engage in discussion, debate during the public comment. If the matter needs further discussion, the council may direct the city manager to place the item on a future agenda. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes. We'll move on to appointments, announcements, presentations. We'll move on to action items, and we put number 4 up to the top, contracting with OD Nordine Pickens PC, attorney at law, CATV.
So this is something we've discussed since the beginning of discussing the potential sale of the cable system, about the needing to bring on outside counsel to assist us in that process. Our city attorney and I met with this attorney last week to discuss his interest in doing so. He indicated he was interested in working with us. We felt it was a good conversation. And I do feel like it's necessary as we move forward to make sure the process moves forward, whichever way we decide, and that we are protecting ourselves and not missing things that he may have experience in doing previously, which he has experience in this type of transaction. And I kind of turned to our city attorney, who was a little more well-versed in attorneying, and discuss with us kind of how that conversation went and any other detail you'd like to provide.
Yeah, briefly, guys. So Mr. O'Day and I have worked together for a greater part of 20 years. Ray O'Day he is by background both an attorney and an engineer. I have worked with him both side by side. Also, he has defended and been involved in litigation that myself and my office has been involved in. Mr. Nordine, the name may be familiar, he's a Marquette County Commissioner, has a lot of experience and background in municipal law. Mr. O'Day as well has been a municipal attorney on the west end of the UP and throughout the UP, if you will, for the greater part of 30, I'll just say 30 plus years, because I don't know the exact, but he's respected within the legal community in the UP, and I respect him. And most importantly, I think, for our purposes, as I have always said to the council, I'm here to serve you guys. I'm here to serve the community, do whatever I can, and my office is available, and with our 5 attorneys to present and do whatever we can to protect the city and also guide us through matters. And if there's ever a time that it gets to a point where it's outside counsel and maybe some more specialized assistance is appropriate, I'm never going to hesitate to ask for help and ask for that assistance. Calling around and calling throughout the state, I've made contacts downstate with individuals at some of the bigger firms. This is a very unique situation when you're speaking about going through a sale of a municipal entity like this. It just doesn't happen very often because there aren't many in the state. We are unique. Our founding fathers got ahead and thought about this years ago and created this, much like our dam, and thought about revenue streams. So this is something that is not very ordinary. There are not a number of attorneys that are specialized in this type of matter. And the downstate attorneys I kept contacting were very similar with just general contract law, which is what I was seeing as we were working through this a little bit. And Mr. O'Day, what makes his group unique, they are in Marquette, and they've gone through this before. And they went through it before and had a bit of a bumpy road on some things here and there, and discovered, as I think they came in maybe later in the project, but worked through and overcame issues and saw the process. So having that perspective, I've spoken to Mr. O'Day a number of times before this, just to get some feelers from him and get some insight and comment. He's always been a nice guy to be able to reach out to, and he helped and kind of made sure that we're up to that point. But at this point, I think as we get closer and closer and deeper into the process, I thought it appropriate to recommend that we bring in some outside counsel for another set of eyes, some experience and some insight, make sure that we don't miss anything. And sometimes what you don't know is what you don't know is the scariest part. And I think we're on track, and I think we're working well with the company that's involved. but we're starting to get closer and closer to, you know, getting things in front of council and the community. So we wanted to just make sure to have another set of eyes, another set of ears, another set of ideas, and somebody that's gone through it before, and I think that's important.
Ask a question.
Yes, sir.
What other municipalities have they worked with been similar?
Similar to the cable or just in general?
Yeah, similar to the cable, 'cause that's kind of a,
Yeah, they were involved in the Nagani transfer.
Yeah.
I just know that question, you know, might be asked.
Yep. Similar sized, I think it was a similar sized entity, similar sized program.
Which was pursued by charter, by the way, or Breslin at the time, then charter, I think, it
Was
hired
it?
him. So.
Okay. And that's what made them, you know, appealing.
Ballpark around when that was.
Late 80s, early 90s, maybe.
Okay, so,
Oh, really that long?
Unless something,
I thought it was after that,
yeah, just a,
but I might be wrong.
just a point to be able
I
to,
could be wrong.
I can
yeah,
let you know.
questions that I think I might be asked by the general public.
I'd say the one thing it's hard to judge is what would be the total cost of bringing them on. We do have their hourly rate. How many hours this could,
Well, my first question is, cart before the horse, I mean, where are we? There's no retainer involved right now?
so we
Is it
have.
straight hourly?
Yes.
So as needed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I would suggest Mr. O'Day, just in casual conversation with me over the last, say, 6 months, has already answered a number of questions I had, bounced things off of him. I'd say he's already, hasn't billed us for it, won't bill us for it, but I would suggest a good 2 hours worth of just banter, discussion, ideas, things to watch out for, things to look for. So he was helpful early on, and I thought it was appropriate as we got closer, just to have a more formalistic.
I think where we're coming from is basically, until we get a formal offer and contract, his services aren't needed, is I guess where I'm at.
Well,
I don't want to run a bill with this guy, you know, just asking a bunch of questions before we even know if we're going to get an offer or something solid, right?
the anticipate, if I may, we're in the middle of the due diligence process, getting all the information. I mean, what they've requested is extensive, as you probably know and or imagine. And staff has been working a lot of hours putting that together and getting that to them as soon as possible. And we expect that that's the next step that will be forthcoming here pretty soon, will be that formal proposal that'll have to be negotiated and discussed and then brought to council for further discussion, and the community as well. We want to make sure to continue to be transparent, and I think that's part of this process. So we're still a little ways away, but it'll be coming, we believe, before too long.
And I do think there's some use of them prior to any sort of official,
Why?
because we are just submitting a lot of questions every time I talk to them. Their attorneys are on asking questions. I don't know enough about what's going on.
What kind of questions can you?
No, I can't. I couldn't speak on the exact questions. Yeah. But just like any other
It's a lot.
discussion,
Showed me.
any other discussion we have about anything, I work with our city attorney on, and I would be more comfortable having someone there that has a little more experience and a potential sale of this magnitude. I think this is appropriate to have someone on there.
I think that's what Grant's saying too.
And if I could address Councilman Moraro, number one, I always appreciate your pragmatic approach and just very straightforward questions, because it's reasonable, right? At this point, I don't know the extent, and I don't think that right now it's going to be over the top with their need, because right now we are getting things from the interested party. They're giving us a list of things they want. We're turning around, collecting it, documenting it, and sending it back as swiftly as we can and as with much diligence as we can. One of the things that I've found to be helpful is, what to expect, what's forthcoming, what's coming down the pipeline, things to start looking for, things to start preparing for, and be proactive, not reactive, and start to try to get ahead of it a little bit. But to your concern, I think it's going to be somewhat minimal until we get that contract, because that's when it's going to really start breaking down and engage in that next level negotiation. So, in a nutshell, I'm hearing you.
Thanks.
I think it's a good idea. think we kinda talked about this at the beginning of all of this, and, you know, somebody who's already went through the transactions or worked with it, I think it's a good idea to have on board. Is there any other questions? If not, I would need a motion.
And Grant, do you want their motion to just accept the retainer agreement with that firm?
What's the retainer agreement?
Yeah,
I'm looking at it, doesn't say anything about retainer, just hourly, correct?
Oh,
Yeah, it would be on as needed. Yeah, they would
Yeah,
be
okay.
filling it out. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
sir.
retainer and,
So the motion would be to accept and adopt the retainer agreement as provided by O'Day, Nordine, and Pickens, PC, in regards to the cable TV negotiations and potential sale process.
Anybody wanna make that motion?
I make that motion.
Support.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes?
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Menegini.
Yes.
Mr. Morano.
yes.
Okay, item number 2, wastewater repair, replace infrastructure project.
So these next 3 items are all wastewater projects that Brock Johnson is here to answer any questions, but these projects are part of the RR&I budget that we put into the current budget. We put in there about 70,000 for various potential projects. This is money that we are required to put into reserve yearly as part of the bond agreement we have. And so we had 324,000 in total for this specific purposes. So we have 3 different projects. We'll take one at a time. The memo I provided is the same for each one. So they apply to all. There's motions for each project as we go along. But I would defer to Brock Johnson to explain each project as we move forward. And when we amended the agenda, you put 1 at the bottom, so we want to start with number 2 then?
I
Yeah.
just went to
You
1.
just want to do this?
Yeah, just
So we'll just start with,
whatever.
okay.
Whatever one you want to, well, go.
Brock, is your mic on? Because we've had complaints that people can't hear the guys talking over there.
Is it on now?
Yeah, it's on.
Little red button, yeah.
Has to be on. Okay, I think we got her now. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's do the pump maintenance. We can just follow the original agenda from 1, 2, and 3. That will be the order.
Of course.
What's in the packet, that one.
All right, in a nutshell, there's 2 main pumps at the wastewater treatment plant. One of them, they're submersible pumps, so there's a motor that's sealed from the impeller. It has taken on water, so right now it is not functional. It has to be pulled out. The company's gonna come and get it for us, do the work for us, and then we'll put it back into service. You'll notice I only have 1 quote for this because we have a current service agreement with this company. So I feel like that is valuable. We pay for it. We also receive 15% off of the parts and labor that need to be done. So I don't know if you have any questions. That's pretty simple, straightforward. This needs to be done. It's been idle for probably 2 weeks, so it's got to get taken out of service and brought to repair.
And again, this 324,000 we have, this is what this money is for. It can really only be used for is maintenance, repair, and infrastructure.
Yeah, my question is, so we had 70,000,
We budgeted 70
In this
for,
budget.
for these projects.
for, plus we already have 1 done.
Yeah, we did, that was
The sewer line on the creek.
Okay.
yep. So these 3 total is still
58-ish.
Or 70.
If there's no other questions on that, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve project 1, influent pump maintenance, to approve $3,450.60, the RR&I monies, for the influent pump maintenance project. Contracting with Xylem.
Yes.
Pronouncing that correctly?
Yep.
Xylem Water Solutions for the project.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Minigini?
Yes.
Mr. Morado?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, so item 3, I guess we'll call it, the influent vertical fine screen. So those who aren't familiar with this, all the incoming sewage passes through this equipment. It gets augered up, all the nasties get squeezed and put into a garbage can. Something has entered this, causing it to over torque almost daily. Right now I have it running steady, which is acceptable for a short period of time. I've already had a company come up, Energetics, and look at it. It needs to be taken out of service. It needs to be taken out of service every 15,000 hours regardless, and we're at that mark as well. But taken out of service, it has to be pulled out of the building. This includes a crane rental and 2 people from the company to come to do this. So this one, if this gets taken out of service, all of our sewage gets bypassed to the plant, unscreened, removed physically by us. You'll notice again that I only have one quote, is because Energetics is the company who set this up. They programmed the screens. They came up here in December and diagnosed this for me. The closest other 2 are Minnesota and southern Lower Michigan at a travel expense fee to come to check this out. I have a great relationship with Energetics. That's why I just chose to go with them.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve project 2, influent vertical fine screen, approving the amount of $84.16 of R&I monies for the influent vertical fine screen project, contracting with Energetics for the project.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Minigini?
Yes.
Mr. Morado?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
I do have one question on that though. They're gonna take care of the road portion of it as well?
There's a hatch built in,
Yeah.
so we will have it open, make sure that it functions, and then they'll take it. They'll have Newlands as the contractor for the crane. They'll set it up, they'll unwire it, they'll take it from there. We'll call this one number 4. This is the Lift Station 5 upgrade. We talked about this quite a bit during the county money, with the Corona money, I believe. So what this is, Lift Station 5 is the Evergreen Assisted Living, which is right across from the wastewater plant, that lift station. It's a 1996 build. All the equipment inside of that is original to that. There's 0 monitoring, 0 controls, and quite a few false alarms, I guess. Probably weekly. By the time we get there, we can't tell if it was a false alarm or if another pump kicked on, et cetera, et cetera. So being that this is nearly a 30-year-old system, a lot of stuff is failing anyway. So what this quote includes is a total upgrade of the control system and also a level sensor monitoring and getting this information to the SCADA system. And I have included 3 quotes.
Are there any questions? If not, do I have a motion?
Have you worked with this FPS?
Yes.
Yes, we use them.
We use a lot.
All the time, for the dam and everything.
Yes, I motion project 3 lift station number 5 upgrade be approved for $35,000 of RR&I monies for the lift station number 5 upgrade project. Contracting with FDS for the project.
Support.
Mr. Minigini?
Yes.
Mr. Morado?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
We'll move on to discussion items. Item number 1, city budget schedule.
So this is obviously where we're getting right into the budget season. We've been working on this internally for a month or more now to start to get the kind of the basics prepared. So what I have here is just want to get everyone thinking about trying to schedule workshops as we want to start to look towards approval. So I've laid out an example. The dates here, like March 11th, 18th, These are all Mondays. I'm not saying Monday, I'm just saying we're looking at doing one workshop of each of these weeks, so the week of March 11th, the week of March 18th. The funds that I have listed there are just an example of the different funds that we have to discuss. Some of it will depend on kind of where we're at in our process to present to you guys kind of where we're at and the different things going on and recommendations and suggestions. So based on these workshops, I have enough here scheduled to hopefully get through every fund before May. I've got a couple of workshops for either catching up on things we haven't gotten to or reviewing things that we had questions on and just kind of getting a final workshop review of the budget. Working into May, I'm hoping that first meeting in May we can have our first public hearing, and then the second meeting in May, hopefully we can have our budget approval and avoid June altogether. If you guys want to start to discuss kind of what your schedules look like, we can do that. If not, again, I just want to kind of get this in front of you and start talking to each other and start to get some stuff down on the calendar.
Should we set for March at least?
I'm actually good with the schedule that's there.
Yeah, I think it's a great place to jump off.
If you guys want to start, these
I
are,
like the consistencies of the same, days of the week. For me, the only thing, or anyone else, with is spring break, I'll be missing the March 25th one. But I will be back.
We're all gonna have conflicts.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm saying that's great, man.
I think Mondays work really great for me
Yeah,
I'm
too.
pretty sure I made these all Mondays. So if that's great, we can start to do that and start noticing it.
When do we go back to our Monday
April?
meetings?
May, I think.
So we might have to
Yeah,
do
because
it
May
before.
6th is Monday. So
Before
that
or
night,
after?
I had the council meeting May 6th and May 20th, so I believe that is when they moved to it.
Is there a certain time? Well, we know Rico can't come till after school. Scott?
Shouldn't come to the word can is very strong.
Right.
The later the better for me. In the afternoon, evening,
What are you looking
'cause I have the kids until 5 o'clock. For the weight room.
And in the afternoon for me.
I have a business that's open till 6, but I can work around it, I guess, with the hell with,
And also in the event that if one or two of you can't make it, then what I'll do is make a point to sit down with each of you who wasn't there to go over kind of what was discussed. Hopefully no more than two. If there's three of you, then I have to post it as a public meeting to discuss what was gone over. So hopefully the majority can make it.
What, you gotta be up at the school till 5?
Yeah, I have the strength and conditioning.
Okay. So do you want to do 5:15?
You want to do 6? Wait until he gets done?
I can get out at 5:15.
5:15 is fine.
Sure. Push till 6:15.
No, I can do it. I'm just joking more than anything. I got my wife, she can run the store for 45 minutes.
And should we just keep it at that time and that date for now until any of us run into a conflict? I like to get it done, and I talk to him, and we just think it's a good idea to get this done earlier than, like last year it was later.
June 29th, we're trying to get this passed.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
We'll move on to mayor council comments. Scott, do you have anything?
Enjoy the winter that we're having. That's what it.
I have another thing.
Jeff?
Candy, what did you guys decide on Mondays at?
5:15?
5:15.
Okay, so do you guys all want me to remind you?
Yes, I still want a reminder.
That would be
Sunday
good.
night, 7 o'clock.
5:15 on
Say we
Monday.
send out a little calendar invite. Let's upgrade this business a little bit.
Yes,
I'll let
Candy.
them decide if they want a Google Calendar.
I don't even use my calendar in my phone now.
We will send out reminders and we'll be posting these
I
out
should, 'cause
before
I'm pretty-
meetings.
I was fortunate enough to be part of a delegation. I got to go to DC last week for the APPA rally. Folks that don't know what that is, it's American Power, Public Power Association, I believe, Ken.
Yes.
And I was with Candy and Jimmy Kramer and Scott Hagee, our electrical supervisor, foreman, and very interesting meeting with the legislation and seeing the inner workings of everything, and I thought the meetings were productive. Got to see how DC works, Billy the Beast, and how it doesn't work, but it was, again, thanks. I was really glad I took part in that.
I'm glad you went, Joe.
Thanks, man.
I also wanted to bring that up, you know, being in Washington, we had a good group, it was productive, I felt like it was. We asked a lot of good questions, I think everybody did a good job representing Norway out there, and I also want, you know, to personally thank WPPI for, you know, sending us out there, you know, basically paying for our trip to go there and stay there so we can represent our town, Norway. So every year, I've been going for quite a few years now, and I'm very proud to go out there and represent our community.
Hear, hear.
That's all I have. Did you have anything?
I did not.
We will be going into closed session after this for city manager yearly evaluation. We will not take any action afterwards. We'll basically be going into closed session and coming out and adjourning.
Motion, we go into closed session.
Or
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Drew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Minigini?
yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.